I know it's a little dreary, but it is an awesome Friday morning. Every Friday, any day is great when we get the governor in downtown York. Obviously, the governor doesn't really leave York too frequently, but we know he comes to downtown York, and when he comes, it's a party. So thank you, Governor, for coming out this Friday morning. My name's Kevin Schreiber, and I'm with the Economic Alliance, and we are very excited to celebrate a very important project conceived by a very important organization. As Crispus Attucks approaches its centennial birthday, it is embarking upon perhaps its most powerful project. A project of this stature would not be possible without a supportive community, without a visionary in Bobby Simpson. Oh, come on! All right, Bobby has not left the building. Bobby has certainly been a trailblazer for this organization and throughout our community and in this Commonwealth. And along with his entire Crispus Attucks family, if you're a member of Crispus Attucks staff, please stand up so we can give you a round of applause. And then one more round of applause if you're a student with Crispus Attucks. Let's stand up and Since taking office, Governor Tom Wolf has awarded over $116 million in project funding to York County projects. Yes, exactly. The majority of that $116 million has been awarded within York City. That's $116 million in 7 short years. Probably felt very long years for you, Gov, but they were short for us. That's $16.5 million per year. Because these funds are all awarded and require a dollar-for-dollar match, that means with even the most conservative estimates, the governor's investment of $116 million will leverage at least an additional $116 million in investment in York County. We know the projects, and we can attest that most will invest quite more than just a $1 for dollar match requirement. But just in doing simple math, you can assert that more than $232 million will be invested in transformative projects across York County and throughout York City. This is probably the best line. $250 million. Doesn't that sound pretty cool? And behind those numbers are projects that are reshaping York's landscapes and making a meaningful impact on our daily lives today, and certainly for tomorrow and for all of our youth here present. Projects, just to name a few, like Keystone Kid Space, the York Academy, the Appel Performing Arts Center, the JCC's Early Learning Center, the redevelopment of the Montgomery Ward Building in downtown Hanover, the markets at Hanover, or York's oldest market, the Penn Street Farmers Market, Arcadorus Greenway, or the York College of Pennsylvania's Knowledge Park. We have Dr. GS here with us today. And certainly many more, including and not limited to today's most exciting announcement, $232 million. The economic impact of Governor Wolf is real, and the impact to our community is tremendous. And Governor, we are incredibly grateful. Thank you. And now, here to introduce Governor Wolf is Miss Lorianne Garcia Santiago, a student at Crispus Attucks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a round of applause.
Good morning. My name is Lorianne Garcia. I am a senior here at Crispus Attucks Youth Charter School. Thank you, Governor Wolf, for being here today as Crispus Attucks grows by adding the African American History Center. Governor Wolf is a York County native, so he knows what it's like to care deeply about all of York and downtown York, just like myself and my classmates. He has been a strong leader in his time in office, funding many projects in York County, like the Arcadorus Greenway, Keystone Kid Space, the Yorktown Hotel, and many other projects in our city and throughout our county, all of which are important to the residents and our visitors. As a student here in this community, I am grateful to have a governor who cares about our education. He has invested $1.8 billion in our education, leading to improved graduation rates in pre-kindergarten classes. This investment in the next generation of leaders will be vital to our community's success. It is my honor to welcome our 47th governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and York County resident and lifelong friend to Crispus Attucks, our Honorable Governor Tom Wolf.
thank you for that introduction. I was just talking to Representative Hill Evans. She was saying, please don't run for this office too soon in your life. You have a future in politics. But it's great to be with you. Representative Hill Evans and I do a lot of good things in Harrisburg, and she has a lot to do with the money that's coming to her. So thank you very much. And Kevin, as always, thank you for being here. You have been a big leader in York and had a lot to do with the decisions, helping me make the right decisions for the city. And where's Bob? So I just didn't want to keep looking at your portrait. So it's good to see you. See the real thing. We have been together for a long time, and I am really pleased to be back here. I was telling Bob, this building was built in 1972. Are you aware of that? I was driving truck for Wolf Supply. I delivered some product to this building when it was under construction. Wow. That's how far back I go with this. I was always also on the board of Crispus Attucks for 4 years before I became governor. When I came back to my company, it was not doing real well, and so I went back and decided to turn it around. And one of the things I was not going to do was get on other boards of directors. But Bob Simpson came to me. Did you pay for lunch that day? You charged it, yeah. And said, "Do this. Make if you're going to do anything, be on this board." And so this was the only board I joined, and it was really great. And I appreciate having had the opportunity to be on that board. I think my father was also on the board, wasn't he? So the family. This is a family operation. We go back a long, long way. And I credit my father and a few others for making sure that Bob Simpson came here. I think you came from Caterpillar. Are you still on temporary duty here? So it's great to be back. But this is important. And the reason I think my family, the reason all of us are here, is because Crispus Attucks is heart and soul of York, Pennsylvania. I'm not sure you can point to another organization. I'm sorry, your college is really important too, but I mean, Crispus Attucks is really key to York. And so I'm really proud to announce, I guess formally, the $4 million RACP. What do we call it, Carol? RACP, RCAP, for the Crispus Attucks African American History Museum, which is going to be a really big deal. It's part of just one more thing that Crispus Attucks does for this community. And there are a couple things that I think are especially important. This museum is going to help us remember a really important part of York's past, the past of Pennsylvania, the past that's important to this nation. It's going to help us share experiences about what it meant to be here in York, in this community, for so many years. And I think most important, it's going to help us figure out how we can avoid the mistakes we've made in the past, how we can have a future that we all deserve. It's going to be so much better. This is really going to be a big deal. Now, I don't want to get too, economic here, but this is going to be a good thing for the tourism too. It's going to bring tourist dollars to York, Pennsylvania. It's going to be a real magnet for people to come to York. So this is the right place for it. York, Pennsylvania is exactly where we ought to be doing this kind of thing. And this is Black History Month, so this is a really good time to make this announcement and to have this launch and kick off this really great project. So I just want to say thank you again to Bob Simpson, to Crispus Attucks, for everything that this institution has meant for the community. There's so many people I was going around. It is like old home week. We spent a lot of time together, and I think we have done a lot to make this community better. We still have work to do, and I think this museum is going to help us continue that really, really good work. So thank you again for being the kind of place that deserves this kind of attention, this kind of investment. And Bob, thank you once again. And Kelly, I'm going to turn this over to you, right? Are you? All right.
Oh, what a beautiful day. I almost feel like singing, but I was charged just to give a few points and just to talk a little bit. I'm Kelly Summerford, the manager of the William C. Goodrich Freedom Center Underground Railroad Museum, owned and operated by Crispus Attucks. I'll just share a few words. You know, when others are tasked with telling the African American stories, they also get to determine the narrative and how much or how little of the truth they want to include. Then we are left with an image that they created. Imagine this. African Americans finally seeing themselves through their own lens. When you walk through the doors of the African American History Center, we expect you to be changed. Because here, African Americans get to tell their own stories. This multi-level African American History Center / lecture facility will give life to African American families who endured the sometimes difficult challenges and managed to overcome them and still call York, Pennsylvania their home. But it won't stop there. Using the technology to increase our visibility by reaching beyond the local community, reaching beyond the borders of York, exposing York, Pennsylvania to the nation. And it won't stop there. It will provide a safe space for all of us to broaden and discuss and sometimes debate difficult subject matters that divide us. Because only then can the healing process begin. York's history is rich, folks. It's room for everyone's history to be told, and this facility deserves to be built. To house African American artifacts, African American stories, pictures, and everything in between. The nation is in a state of unrest. Sharing culture has been shown to be a key ingredient to stabilizing older communities and bringing citizens together. So just take a breath and know that we can become the community of peace and progress. Let's think bold, bright, and beautiful, because I see endless possibilities.
I'm going to take this agenda back because we're going to go off agenda a little bit, and this was at the direction of Mr. Simpson. Next up, we also have another local historian, Mr. Jeff Kirkland.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Governor Wolf. We want to thank you, Governor Wolf, for your continued interest and support for the growth and development of the York community. You not only show your commitment to developing the brick and mortar aspects of our community, but even more importantly, you are committed to the development of our human potential here as well. Crispus Attucks was formed here over 90 years ago, and a primary objective of its mission was character building. Knowing what I know about the founders of this organization, I am sure they not only wanted to address the character of individuals, but our overall community character as well. The resources dedicated to this Black History and Cultural Center will allow Crispus Attucks to take its character building mission to another level. Because with this Black History Initiative, Crispus Attucks will be better able to educate our community about the benefits of respecting each other's stories, as well as the benefits of true diversity. It has been proven that people who have a healthy knowledge of themselves, as well as a respect for diversity, will demonstrate greater outcomes in life, including higher student achievement, more positive peer relationships, and improved career opportunities. So again, I'd like to thank you, Governor Wolf, for your commitment to this project and to a better York. You're welcome.
Thank you, Jeff. And now up, state representative representing the, you know it, the best legislative district in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. By far, we would say that if anyone else was here, Representative Carol Hill Evans.
Thank you for that kind introduction. If you can see it, you can be it. And now finally, thank you, Governor Wolf. Thank you, Mr. Simpson. Thank you, Mr. Kirkland, and everyone else who is here. Finally, with the funding, with the conversations, with the collaboration, with all of the lives that came before us and shoulders upon which we stand, our children will have the opportunity to know where they came from. They can see that they came from kings and queens, artists, musicians, teachers, judges, legislators, everybody else that they came from. It's just a phenomenal opportunity for our generation to be here still, to know that our parents before us, they won't get to see this, but we'll see it for them. We will see them in this very museum, and we'll be able to bring our children and our grandchildren so that they know that this is who we are, and this is how we are, and this is how we need to be as African Americans, with pride and success. And so again, thank you all for being here. I'm just honored and thrilled to be part of this. I went off script, so I don't know if I even want to read this. Mr. Simpson of Crispus Attucks once said, "No one can tell the story of York's Black history better than the people who have lived it." So I'm grateful that some of York City's Black residents' stories will be told in this very museum. So thank you once again for making the dream of an African American History Museum here in New York City not just conversation, but a reality. This project has been a very long time coming, and I am eternally grateful and excited to share in this moment so we can bring our history to life. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Hill Evans. Now, to talk about this exceptional space and how it will be designed, we have the very esteemed architect, Mr. Frank Dittenhafer of Murphy and Dittenhafer Architects.
Thank you, Kevin. People always ask me, well, what exciting projects are you working on? And without hesitation, I say the Crispus Attucks History and Cultural Center. It is, I think, the most exciting and important project that I've ever been involved in. It's been a real privilege to work with Crispus Attucks and Bobby and the African American community. And we can't break ground soon enough. I'm so happy, Governor Wolf, for your contribution to move things forward. This will not be a static museum. It will be a very engaging new place on the Crispus Attucks campus. And it will provide the platform for the community to tell the stories that need to be told and have the conversations that need to be held with the right voice, with the voice of the African American community, and in the context of Crispus Attucks. And those will be many themes. If it's 1968 and racism and beyond, if it's arts and culture, if it's important families and in industry and education, it will provide a flexible environment to tell the stories, to tell the history, to talk about culture, and to have programs and events and speakers and to move the conversations forward. This will be an important new place for an awful lot to happen in the future. And I'm so privileged to be part of the small part of it, to design it. Again, we can't wait till we break ground and actually see it become reality. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Frank. You can't say Crispus Attucks without saying Bobby Simpson. The two are synonymous with each other, and just as much as this is an institution as an organization, so too is the man. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Bobby Simpson.
We're family, you know. So, anyways, first of all, let me welcome. You already had enough of the limelight. Give me a little bit of it. Again, good morning to everyone, and thank you so much for coming out. Before I get a chance to talk about my I'd like to, first of all, ask all of our special guests that I invited to raise your hand and stand. Dr. Pamela Smith, your college. President of York College. Mayor of York, Mike. Any members from Christmas Addicts Board of Directors? Raise your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand. York City Council. Any members from York City Council? Raise your hand, raise your hand. Good. What about the Goodrich Center? And of course you met Frank. Right. There's one special person too I want you to meet. And I always call him the mayor of Duke Street. Joe, raise your hand. Judy, stand up. When you walk or ride around our 4-block campus, you know, we always say that we are responsible for our neighborhoods and our, everything else. Joe and I lived on Duke Street for the past 100 years, I guess, but Joe still lives on Duke Street. But Joe and his family and Judy and her family, they make sure that we hold our neighbors and our houses and our community responsible for cleaning up our neighborhood every day. That's Joe's job as mayor of Duke Street. So we're proud of this. Give him a round of applause. Thank you, thank you. Now, for my biggest welcome and a very special guest to our governor and my best friend, one of my friends for the past 40 years, Tom Wolf. Let me tell you a real quick story, and it's a true story. I started here in 1979, and everyone knows this story. Dan Elby, where's Dan? Dan Elby and Ray Crenshaw and I. United Way called us out of the United Way building. It was Dan Minerva and Don Randolph. And that was when Christmas Addict was going through a lot of turmoil. But I remember the United Way said, we're giving you 6 months to get this organization turned around. There was some massive problems, let me tell you. And we said, you know what, you're telling the truth, you're right. We aren't doing our job. But we also said, never again will any one funding source ever have the ability to shut this organization down. Well, I'm leading to something, because there was 3 families. Listen to me. There was 3 families that came to our rescue. It was a Tom Wolf family, Bill and John Zimmerman's families, and Marty and George Hodges' family. They came aboard and stuck with us for 10 years until we got this organization up and running. Now guess what? After 91 years, we survived. And after all that time, and after all those years, guess what? They're still supporting us here. Yes. So, Cousin Tom, with that $4 million that you gave us for this museum, we appreciate that. Because I think, again, this museum is going to give the next generation a true story on what York was about and is about. So often, York's story is told through other people's lens. And if you remember, for the last couple of years, we've been in the national news 12 times, all negative. And the reason it's been negative because it's been told by somebody else. And this museum is going to give us the opportunity to tell our story. You know, we have some good people in York, but you will never know about the coverage we get. Am I right, Doc? So this is a golden opportunity through this museum for us to say what York truly is. You know, if not for this York community, there'd be no Christmas Attic Center. They could have said, the hell with it, shut it down, but they didn't. And thanks to my brother here, Tom, and his family, and the Zimmermans, and the Hodgeses, and others, we survived. We're a survival story. I was telling Katie today, right, Kate? We're a survival story, one to be told. So, my brother, I appreciate you. You know, I love you.
you notice I just got a promotion? I used to be his cousin, now I'm his brother.
Yeah. Hey, $4 million make a big difference. Okay. All right. Any questions, Tom? You want to do any questions?
So again, thank you for inviting me back. This is a great opportunity, and you're right. We're going to tell the story. So I'll be happy to take any questions. Anybody? If not, that's okay too. Right? Right? Politics, we like when no one has questions. Okay. Well, thank you again, and Bob, congratulations to you and the CA family. This is a really big step for York. It's a big step for Christmas. It's a big step for everybody in Pennsylvania, and I am proud to be supportive of this. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, thanks a lot.